I knew there would be a July Direct. I was fucking counting on it, and I wasn't gonna give up to the last minute. I really thought it was gonna be, a mainline Direct, and instead we got a partner showcase, which I'm not too upset by. Honestly, I'm just glad to get something at this point. And honestly, I think it will be a good show. There's quite a lot on here. I don't expect everything here, obviously. I expect maybe we'll see three to five of these things. Except maybe that's pushing it. Maybe we'll see 2 to 3 of these things. I don't know. I figured pretty much everything I thought of that I thought I could at least talk about somewhat. I'll throw on here and just get my thoughts out on. Um, it is really strange not to have a mainline direct because it just felt like everything was pointing to it. Because we recently had um, Metroid Prime was rated in some country. I'm not sure where, so that typically means some sort of trailer and release date is imminent. And we can't see that here, obviously, unless they include Retro Studios as a partner. But I don't think that's the case. Um, Same goes with Splatoon Raiders. That game got a bunch of info randomly dropped on one of Nintendo's websites in another country and then dropped, pulled off right away. So don't know what happened there. So it just made sense that we would get a mainline direct. But now it's just a partner showcase, which, like I said, I'm not mad about. I'm just happy to have something because it's starting to look kind of bleak there. But I guess I don't have too much else to touch on. Last time I did one of these, I was like fucking most depressive episode of my fucking life, and now we are so back, dude. I'm really excited for honestly just all the shit that's coming in the future with games. I think there's a lot they can show off here, and a lot of it's stuff I'm interested in. There's a handful of things on this that I'm not interested in, but they're all big reveals still. And will they show up? Probably not. I expect some of them, but I guess now I'm just stumbling over my words, so let's get into what I actually said. Starting out with my kind of visual novel corner I have in the bottom left. Ace Attorney 7, it will be here every single time until it happens. I need Ace Attorney 7 so bad. I don't care if it stars Phoenix or Athena, or honestly just give me TGAA 3 or like an investigations game starring a different character. I just want something new from Ace Attorney. I don't care what. But for this, I put Athena on there because I feel like Ace Attorney 7 starring Athena with Phoenix in a mentor role with one or two cases in Kura in with Apollo just kind of seems like the most likely thing to happen. And honestly, I would be so happy with that. Athena's my favorite of those three protagonists, so that's good enough for me. Also, we've been waiting for so long, and recently they've done so much to grow the franchise. They've put out collections with every single game in the last few years. And they recently, Capcom a couple days ago, put out a thing that said all of their best selling franchises. It was like the top 10 or something. And you had what you'd expect just Street Fighters, Monster Hunters, Resident Evil. And those were all featured predominantly at the top of the image. But at the bottom, there was other franchises that had sold smaller amounts, but still good amounts. And Ace Attorney was on there, and I think a lot of those sales are more recent. So I think they do want to capitalize on the hype. And then above that, Professor Layton. New World of Steam was announced forever ago, and it feels like it's gotta be coming soon. I don't know too much about the Layton games. I want to get around to playing them. Um, Speaking of level 5, I forgot to include it, but I feel like we could see something on Deca Police. The recent level 5 revival has been insane because I know that Fantasy Life I was an incredible game, so I want to get around to playing that eventually. Shame that there's no physical release in the West. Kind of have to import that. Speaking of physical releases, unfortunately, I kind of expect pretty much everything here to be a game key card, because that's kind of just what stuff all is right now. I think the only way to change that is if Nintendo decides to offer more file sizes on the game cards, which don't know if they'll do because they'll eat into profit, and we're moving closer and closer to the all digital future that no one wants. But moving on, Monokuma. Okay, I think there's definitely something Danganronpa coming within the next few months because there is that big anniversary thing they're teasing. I think it's unfortunately a remake of Trigger Happy Havoc, which I think would be dumb as hell. I don't know why you would ever remake a visual novel, which I'll get to the one they are in a second. But I I don't want a Trigger Happy Havoc remake. I honestly, I think Danganronpa is a franchise that just needs to die. I get it makes money, but if they were to make another entry, they're just milking the same concepts anyway. And the writer who does it, Kodaka, he just milks those concepts in all of his other games. Which, speaking of 100 Line, I'm finally getting around to playing that. Um, a lot of the concepts in the game are really good, and a lot of the like story beats are well told. But it's also just held back by Kodaka having his frankly weird writing style. He always has to make things weird for no reason whatsoever, and that's kind of holding the game back a lot for me. I think the only full route I've gotten to in the game is the romance route, and God, that shit was ass. So hopefully the others are better. Under that, I briefly alluded to it a bit ago. Steins Gate reboot. We haven't heard about this in, I want to say, about 9 months, which is insane because they told us it would come out by October of this year, and it's, or maybe September, one of the two. Well, it's July, and we haven't seen anything since then. So I want to think it could show up, but also Steins Gate stuff is kind of known to get in development hell or just never come out because there was Steins Gate Elite Zero that was revealed years ago, and then we never heard a single thing again. So hopefully that doesn't happen with this. I don't think it is, because realistically they're gonna milk the original Steins Gate as much as they possibly can. I love Steins Gate. I've only seen the anime, but it is one of my favorite stories told. And I have the game on Steam, but I'm specifically waiting for a reboot at this point. Moving on, I've got Duskbloods. That kind of fills a spot of all FormSoft stuff there. I think we will probably get a small trailer for that game, but I think we're definitely going to get Elden Ring's release date. Hopefully, the Solaire of Astora amiibo will be restocked for one of those, because that amiibo is so hard to find, so expensive. And I believe that's like the only amiibo where there's a bunch of fakes out there. I'm not sure if I'm right on that, but I think I am. Above that, this is kind of a lame thing, but there is no Switch 2 edition of Minecraft yet, so I feel like that's just an easy thing. And along with that, I have a handful of Microsoft things. John Black Ops, his name is John Black Ops. I think that is so funny. Anyway, Microsoft and Activision signs that deal where they physically had to bring new COD games to Switch for the next 5 years or something. So COD is coming, it's just a matter of when, and I think this is a good time. Speaking of other Microsoft games, there's the Gears of War remake. I think it's coming to PlayStation and I believe Steam, so it would make sense to come to Switch. I think of the Microsoft announcements I have up here, these four, it is the least likely to happen, but I still think it's something that could happen eventually. Master Chief Collection. I predicted that at the Direct in April. It didn't happen, but I still feel like that's one of the big things that any any of the like less obvious predictions here, like of the less obvious ones, which I guess the only obvious ones are like Zelda and the Atlas games and Final Fantasy and all that. Uh, Master Chief Collection's the one I'd be most confident in because it just makes so much sense, and they're not even like new game, like they're old games. They run just fine on Switch. They sell well. It would be good publicity for both companies. I just feel like Master Chief Collection makes so much sense. For Resident Evil, I just put Leon Kennedy here. Resident Evil is a franchise I don't know too much about, but I can guarantee they're going to bring quite a few of those games to Switch too. Atlas games. Speaking of things I do know about, yeah, no, I expect both P3R and Metaphor at this. I feel like those are two of the most likely announcements. Hopefully P3R comes with Episode Aegis on the cartridge, or, well, the game key card, most likely. Um, just pack that in with the game, charge $70, all the DLC, and resell it. I'll buy it again, probably when it goes on sale, but I'm stupid and will do it. Same thing goes for Metaphor. I think there's not going to be anything special done with that. Probably just, put on the Switch too. Nothing new. I would love if they added an epilogue, because I feel like there was a great opportunity for an epilogue, or like a small extra arc added on to the end of the game, but I just don't think they're going to do that. And if they did that in this instance, it would be making that content switch to exclusive most likely, which I don't see why they would want to do that, because I just feel like that's limiting your audience so much for what is essentially no reason whatsoever. And then, God, I'm going through these quite fast. I guess it is just a partner showcase, so there's not too much to say. At least when it comes to the stuff I care about too much. Beyond that, Hades 2 and Silksong are both kind of those indie gems that, not, I was gonna say darlings, but that word's hard as hell to say, so I said gems. Uh, Hades 2. Hades 1 was initially a Switch 1, sorry, console exclusive. So I'm not saying it'll be the same thing with Hades 2. In fact, it might be on Xbox and PlayStation already, but I do think Nintendo probably will get a lot of the marketing for Hades 2 because it's just a game you associate with the Nintendo audience a lot. Silksong, kind of the same thing in regards to associating it with Nintendo's audience. I don't care too much about Hollow Knight. I won the game in a giveaway a couple years ago. Played like an hour and a half of it. It was okay. Like it was, I can tell it's an amazing game, but Metroidvanias aren't really my thing. Uh, Silksong is going to be predicted at every single show, no matter what, because this game needs to come out eventually, and it has been years. So just put it out. Uh, Final Fantasy VII Remake. That's one of the games that was announced at the Direct in April, and we're just kind of waiting on a release date for, and I feel like now is the time to see it. And then finally, we're gonna see Age of Imprisonment. I think that's the biggest guarantee of this entire show. People don't remember that Age of Calamity had been shown off at a past partner showcase. I'm not sure if Three Hopes was, but regardless, Koei Tecmo is the company who makes it. Nintendo just licenses out the characters and like oversees the story. But the game is made predominantly by Koei Tecmo, and they have been at these presentations many times in the past. So I'm very confident we'll see Age of Imprisonment, and I might just be the only person in the entire world who is excited for this game. I love the original Hyrule Warriors. I think Age of Calamity, despite my issues with a lot of the story, I think Age of Calamity is my favorite Warriors game. Granted, I haven't played too many of them. I've only played some of the licensed ones, so Zelda, Fire Emblem, and Persona. But regardless, I love Age of Calamity. It's my favorite of the five I've played. If Age of Imprisonment is just that but better, that would be awesome. I hope they don't fumble the story again like they did last time. But at this point, Zelda's stories are just kind of ass recently, so I'm not too invested. Honestly, just give me the combat from Age of Calamity a bit better. Give me some more characters, because the most fun part about the Warriors games is trying out all these characters. I like when you have the more niche ones, like the original, not the original. Age of Calamity had Monk Mass Koshia, I believe the name was, and just other weird picks, and I love that for these games, and I want to see more of that, and I think they will do more of that. I am kind of worried about they're gonna find a way to make Yodobo, Riju, Sidon, and Tulin playable characters, and I feel like the only way you can do that is with time travel, so fuck. Maybe they'll just be post game, but I don't know. There's gonna be time travel again, especially because they already broke that egg with Age of Calamity, but also Tears of the Kingdom is just focused around time travel, so unfortunately that's just gonna happen. I wonder if they'll bring back the Mini Guardian from Age of Calamity and use him as a time travel device again. It would be kind of cool to see him return just because he was in the last game, even though I hate that robot for his role in the story. Besides that, the nameless champions from Tears of the Kingdom, hopefully we get some personality from them and learn about them. I believe it was confirmed they would be playable, but I don't know if I want to be excited about that because those characters, we know nothing about them. Besides, they like to talk about the Secret Stones and Demon King. So hopefully we'll get opinion, stuff about them besides just that they're generic versions of all the different races in Hyrule. Like, it's literally just lame colors, no personality, generic voices, just Goron, uh, Gerudo, Vito, and Ruta? No, Zora. Sorry, I don't. Ruta is the name of one of the, either one of the Divine Beasts or the Ocarina of Time Sage. I don't know. I should know more about Zelda than I do. I've only really played the recent games. But with that said, I don't think I have too much else to say. I kind of flew through these, but honestly, I don't really expect people to ever listen to these anyway. I mostly do it because it's fun for me, and also I just want to document my thoughts in a way that isn't like in a Discord channel or whatever. So I'm gonna end it there in a moment, but yeah, that's everything. I guess if anyone in Fuzz is watching this, player ranking after character ranking, it's coming, I promise. I genuinely am working on it. If you don't know what I'm talking about, then please just ignore it, because it would take so much work to explain what the hell I'm talking about. And I guess that kind of goes for everything in this video, so who knows.